So I have an issue where my Pro 2 started spinning. This bottom plate, there was no resistance like there is right now. And this plate just kept spinning, which was causing alignment issues. I couldn't get anything to align, and the pictures that were coming out on the first scan were looking horrible. So I called a repair facility, and they wanted about $250 to kind of go through it and figure it all out. They're in Florida, and I'm in California, and I have a shoot tomorrow, and so I didn't have the time to send them the camera and have them troubleshoot it. So this plate, I'm going to see if I can open it up and get it fixed. And here you can see it's just spinning freely. There's nothing holding it back. So, my first time ever, we're going to attempt to open this up and see what we can see. I have these automotive panel removal tools. They're made out of plastic, and I figured these would work. I haven't opened this Pro 2 before, so I'm kind of just trying to figure it out. Obviously, this didn't work too well, so I have to figure out a plan B. This goo at the top was some adhesive from a GoPro mount that I had on the camera at one point. Take this off because I don't need it anymore. I'm leaving this in because obviously this is not the right way to do it. I see a lot of videos of cameras where this plate is popped off, and I always thought that it would just pop off and pop back on, but clearly this isn't the way it's supposed to come off. It's at this point that I notice, hey, there's these little screw covers in here. There's pieces of plastic that have some adhesive on the back. They popped off pretty easily. So on the four corners here, we have torx screws, and they're T8s. These came out super easily. The bigger screws on the handle were T15s, I believe. I think I originally said T11s in the original audio to this video, but I think they're T15s. There's just two screws there. These ones I initially thought were T15s, but they're not. They're T8s as well. So now that I have all 6 screws out, I'm going to use this pry toolkit, and I'll put a link in the video for this kit I got on Amazon. I think it was around $15. But this super helpful. I was being gentle because this is my first time doing it, and I didn't want to break anything. So you see the power button, the battery button, and the display is all on the back of the case, which I thought might have some cables attached or some power wires, and sure enough, we did. There's a ribbon cable, and it looks like a power connection cable. I'm going to first unplug the power cable, and then we can use a small flathead screwdriver to pull back the clip that holds in the ribbon. Now the ribbon cable is out. That wasn't too bad. Now that bottom plate won't come out because the mounting plate is going through it. The top plate comes out, it just slides up, but there's two little cables that simply snap into place. And I believe these are for the antennas. So I unplugged both of them. I didn't have to. I only needed to unplug the white one, but I unplugged both. Here I'm just taking a picture so I know where it went when I have to put it back together. I tend to do that a lot. It helps. Just lifted up the tape to remove the cable, and just kind of slides up. There you go. That one you can keep plugged in. So now we have 3 Phillips head screws and another torx screw. The smaller torx screw is a T6. And on the other side we have the same 3 Phillips head and a torx. So now I got all the Phillips head screws out. I like to snap pictures as I go so that if I have any questions later, I know how to answer them. So I had to run to the store in between that and get the smaller torx head, which I did end up picking up, and that was a T6. Took those 2 screws off on either side. I left one more Phillips head that I needed to remove. So it seems the case was snapped in a little bit. I was being careful with it as I was taking it out. Overly cautious, but it slid out pretty easily, and as you can see, the bottom plate just falls right off. It's not attached in any way. It's kind of just held in with friction. And there we have it. There's the cameras. There's the sides, nice metal case. There's a USB plug of some sort that goes to a circuit board. There's batteries on either side. There's a circuit board on the back. And there's where our issue is. You see that nut is spinning around? It shouldn't. So what I need to do is basically just tighten that nut up. This is a 3/4 inch nut, so you need a 3/4 inch wrench in order to tighten it down. I took the nut out just so that I could go get the right size wrench, but as you can see, it just holds on with friction. Here's my 3/4 inch wrench. And I'm going to fast forward this part because I had a little difficulty attaching the nut to the thread. So I'm going to slide the post through and align it with the nut and start tightening it down. It's tight quarters. Luckily I got small fingers. Now that I have it on, I'm just going to tighten it down. Now I'm not sure how it works, but I assume there's some sort of clutch or gear in there that shaft goes through, and that's what spins it. Having said that, there's no nice way to tighten this down. I mean, you just tighten it till you think it's tight enough. It'd be nice if Matterport put a castle nut on there and a cotter pin, but they didn't. So that's pretty much it. That's how you do the repair and keep it from spinning. Now I get to put it back together. Simply just reversing the process. I'm going to put the bottom plate on first. It just sits there. I'm going to put the top plate on, the front plate on next. A little piece of the tab broke off. It doesn't affect it too much. Here I'm going to put the top of the case in, and I'm going to snap down the 2 wires I previously unplugged. They just kind of snap into place there. Don't forget to hide it back under the tape so it holds it secure. Now I'm going to put the ribbon cable back in. This connector is kind of finicky. Finicky in the sense, as you'll see here, I kind of play with it for a few minutes. But you got to pull out the little cream colored holder a little bit. It actually ended up coming out all the way. I thought the cable wasn't in all the way, and I started kind of trying to force it in. I didn't need to though, because it doesn't go in that deep. You just have to push it in a little bit, and then you use this cream colored locking tab mechanism to push in, and it holds it in with friction. It took me a few tries to get this figured out. I'm not going to edit this out. I'll leave it in so you can see the process. So it kind of just sits in there. It doesn't go in too far, which was throwing me off. I thought it would have went in a lot deeper. Still toying with it. And it's in. So now I'm going to plug the power cable into that connector. Then it's just a matter of aligning the back of the case with the top and the bottom lids. They kind of just ride in channels and they snap down. And here we're putting them the 4 T8 torx screws on the corners. And here we're putting in the two larger, what I believe is a T15 torx. Again, it could be a T11, but I think it's a T15. Now I'm putting back on the screw covers. Again, they're just little pieces of plastic with some adhesive on the back. And there we have it. It's good as new. I tested it out. It works, no alignment issues. It stops and starts on its own. And it's not freely spinning now. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions.